Great. Well, Kathleen, take it away. And our friends in the chat, if you have questions, just let us know and we'll make sure that Kathleen answers them for you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Kathleen. We're gonna be making a Mother's Day card today. Obviously, you could personalize this with whatever hand lettering that you want. But since Mother's Day is right around the corner, I thought it'd be perfect timing for a Mother's Day card. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do really quick. We're going to be hand lettering with our PITT Artist pens, and then we're going to be drawing flowers that we also outline with a pen, and then we're going to color them in with our Faber-Castell Goldfaber Aqua Watercolor Pencils. And I'll show you the tin that I have. I have the 24 count tin. Okay. And so you guys know we are going to be posting a template for this card on our Facebook tomorrow. So if you want something that you can print out and use as a template that way, that'll be on our Facebook, our Faber-Castell Facebook page tomorrow. So you can see I started.
If they look up Faber-Castell USA, then they'll make sure that they find our Facebook group.
Everybody's saying hi. Hi, everybody. So you can see I started sketching part of this out, and I'll finish drawing it on camera, and then we'll start going over everything with the pen. And what's really nice about the PITT pens is that once you put them down on your paper and then you get them wet, they're not going to bleed. So once you watercolor over these, you're not going to see your ink kind of bleed everywhere. So that's why we're using these pens. So what I have is, this is a 9x12 sheet of watercolor paper, and we're making a 5x7 card. So I drew this out on my paper like this. So you know, when you fold a card, the back is on this side and the front's on this side. So you're going to make a big square that's 10 inches by 7 inches, and then the fold line is going to be right in the middle. So this is 5x7. And then about halfway up, it's a little bit less than half. I marked it as 3¼ inches, but this is where I made my line for mothers, for the hand lettering for Mother's Day. Please give us the address for the location of the pattern. We'll be posting it on a Faber-Castell USA Facebook page. Can you say the measurements again? Absolutely. So this is a 5x7 card. So we're making one square that's 10 by 7. So if you have a 9x12 sheet of paper, I actually just measured 1 inch in from the edge of the sheet of paper to make my square.
Hey, Kathleen, there's a question about what kind of mechanical pencil you're using. Now, do they have to use a mechanical pencil, or what do you recommend?
You don't need to use a mechanical pencil. It's just my preference. I like that my point is always sharp. I never have to sharpen it. This is a Faber-Castell mechanical pencil, but ideally you want to use a lead that's not too dark. So anything that's if you have a graphite pencil, use an HB. That's the best lead for sketching. Upside down. Here you go. This is what we're doing.
So Kathleen, is there a reason why a graphite pencil is best for sketching?
Yeah, because it's easy to erase. I'm gonna sketch this all out with pencil first, and then we're gonna go over all of these lines with marker, with the PITT Artist Pen. So this is just drawing, this is just sketching it out really quickly, and then I'll start going over it with the pen. So if you have a bunch of pencils, really a basic pencil is just fine. I just like sketching everything out before committing to the using an ink pen. Scary.
That way you can always erase. I agree.
Right. So I find that when I'm sketching things out, I like to draw really basic shapes of what it would be. So this was kind of a big old blob. I kind of just drew a triangle. Okay, and I'm going to start going over this.
So some of our class attendees are asking us to slow down, but the good thing about this class, it is being recorded. So tomorrow, if you check on the Michael's website, this class will be up and you can really watch it as your leisure and stop and go according to your skill level.
So when I start with using the pen over my sketches, I prefer to start in the areas that I know I'm going to watercolor over first, because then that will, and then move on to the lettering after that, so that once I go to watercolor, I know that my pen is 100% dry, so that if water does get on it, it won't smear. Because it is important to wait until your pen is dry before you put water on it. Oh, sorry. I saw move my left hand so you can see the flowers. I'm going to put this paper clip so my card lays flat, so I don't have to hold it. And I find that when I'm drawing with marker, or if I'm sketching, I like to draw outside of the lines. So if you're drawing leaves and stuff, it's okay to go past your border so it looks more natural when you draw.
What I like about the PITT Artist pens that you're using is the different nib sizes. So if I want thick lines or thin lines, I can just choose whatever pen I want.
Exactly. I'm using the F nib. It stands for fine. I'm using the fine nib for these lines. And then once we go over the hand lettering, I'm going to use the 1.5. It's like a bullet nib, so it's a little bit thicker. Can you see that? And I find that using the different nibs really makes your image more dynamic too.
Now, do these pens dry pretty quickly after you lay them down, or?
They do dry pretty quickly. I just like to be 100% sure that it's dry. I know that if you draw something and then immediately put water on it, the pen may not be dry, and so it will smear just a little bit. I've definitely seen worse. But these generally will not bleed if they're dry.
Now, Kathleen, if we have some people that are maybe a little intimidated by drawing their own art, could you use a stencil if you had it? If you had a flower stencil?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just layer the flower at different angles because a lot of these flowers are so similar.
When I see the flower that you made, it kind of reminds me of a heart with an extra bump. So maybe if I'm not the best artist, I can think of drawing a heart, adding like another little bump.
How big is your pen in millimeter? I'm not quite sure. Honestly, it looks like 1 millimeter, but I know that that's not very specific. Let me see, do I have a... It's like exactly 1 millimeter.
I think drawing can be kind of relaxing too. You can kind of just get in your creative zone and be very mindful about laying down your lines and creating your drawing.
It's really meditative.
I think the thing with a handmade card is you're giving it to your mom or whoever you're giving it to, because you made it yourself. You took that time to make that handmade card. It's unique. No other card is going to look like your card. It becomes a really very special gift. These are the kinds of things that moms keep and put in their drawer and just hang on to.
I'm so excited to give this card to my mom. I'm gonna see her tomorrow.
I could see this as a fun family project if each child in the family maybe wants to take a turn at adding something to it, or maybe putting their own little doodle on there, signing their name inside.
And you know what's nice about a 5x7 card is that it fits in a frame. So if you don't even want to say Happy Mother's Day, you could put some kind of fun quote or something that you think your mom would really enjoy. And then that's frameable.
That's a great idea. I like these pens too because they work on other surfaces. So beyond just card making, you can use them on a lot of different surfaces. Wood, for instance.
Wood, and PITT Artist Pen is India ink, so it's also permanent on fabric.
It's great to know.
I'm gonna flip this upside down. For some reason, it's easier for me to draw. I'm gonna do the top of my card.
I think that's the good thing about being an artist or just being creative. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You should just be creative and have fun. What Kathleen is showing is a great suggestion, but use your own creativity and your own little artistic flair.
I know, it'd be really fun if your mom had a favorite flower. You could draw that flower for her. I know my mom really likes daylilies.
I love daylilies. Unfortunately, so do the deer that live near my yard.
Oh no.
They usually eat them before I can enjoy them, but I can share. Kathleen, do you have a favorite flower?
You know what, because my mom likes daylilies, I've started planting lots of them because they just remind me of her. But they've all started blooming.
I think we have people from all over joining us. I wonder what flowers grow where you guys are living. Right now, where I live, there are lots of lilacs and spring flowers blooming, so it smells really good. Oh, someone said put a bag over the lilies so the deer don't eat them. That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Right? That is very minty smelling, and apparently deer don't like mint. So I try to spray that on it. Someone said they like tulips, irises. I have irises blooming now. I love irises. I love tulips.
I love irises.
In Texas, they've got some wildflowers. I've always wanted to go see the bluebonnets blooming in Texas. I think that would be cool. Some of the other flowers I like, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but ranunculus, they kind of look like a rose with a whole bunch of petals, like a million little petals. They're really beautiful.
What name will your... Oh, go ahead.
Someone's asking, when do you erase your pencil lines?
I'm gonna finish doing all of the pen, and then I'll erase it. So I was using the fine tip for all of the outlines, and I'm gonna switch to doing this word mothers. So I'm gonna switch to a bigger tip. This is the bullet nib, and it just has 1.5 up here. And it's kind of like a, I don't know if you can see this, a rounded tip, but it's a little bit bigger. And it'll give us this nice thick line.
What I love about the Faber-Castell pens is just how black and how dark the ink is. It really has great saturation. They also last a really, really long time. I don't know how one pen like that can hold so much ink, but I've got PITT pens that have been in my drawer for years, and I can open them up right now and they would still write beautifully.
I have some really old PITT pens. It's incredible. I have all the discontinued colors too.
Someone else is growing cosmos and delphinium and columbine. I love all those flowers. Columbine are so beautiful.
And so when we post the template on our Facebook, you could even print it out if you have a printer. And if you want to trace it, if you don't have a light box, you could always put it on your window so you can see through and trace it that way.
Someone mentioned using their iPad or their computer screen as a light box. I thought that was interesting. I've never tried that, but that could be interesting.
I have tried the iPad. I really like it. And so there's some lines that I did that I don't like. I'm gonna go over these again. And that'll help us get that thicker line. I like that the word mother sticks out.
Now, if someone is intimidated by calligraphy or they don't want to do a hand letter, if you just do it in your own handwriting, I think mom would think that's still pretty special. Don't you think so, Kathleen?
I think so. It makes it even more personal because then she's always going to look at it and think of you. And some people don't like their handwriting, but I find that it's, everybody's different. I love some people's handwriting and they don't happen to like it.
My kids always think I'm writing in some secret code when I write in cursive. The tulips are blooming in Wisconsin. Our tulips are still blooming here in Ohio, but they're almost finished now. We've had kind of some cool weather.
Mine are almost done.
Oh. That's looking really nice. But you can see how Kathleen's just taking her time and tracing over the letters. This isn't something that you have to rush through. If you don't do it all in one setting, you can get started and then come back to it.
So I'm going to start erasing my pencil lines. I'm going to start on the flowers that I traced first. And I'm using just a kneadable eraser.
Now, Kathleen, what do you think the benefit is to using a kneadable eraser for someone who might not be familiar with that?
What I like about it is that it never leaves a mark on your paper. Because it's kind of self-cleaning, you need it to clean it. It's really good at getting most pencil off your paper, and you don't have to worry about any of those little dusty things that come off of your eraser.
It's probably a little
and they last forever.
Is it more gentle on your paper than like a rubber eraser too?
Oh, definitely. Some of them can rip the surface of your paper. This is really nice and gentle. Because you can see I'm really erasing. And it's not doing anything.
Someone asked if the eraser is similar to the Factus eraser. I'm not familiar with that term. Kathleen, do you know?
Is that the General's eraser? I think that's white, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. And someone else is asking what template will this be under in the Faber-Castell site? Kathleen, do you know that answer?
What template will it'll be on our Facebook page. I don't know if we have a folder on our website, but we'll definitely put it on our social media so you'll be able to find it.
We'll try to make it
Oh,
really
it's black.
obvious. We'll talk to our IT team and make sure that that gets uploaded to our website in
Yeah,
a very easy to find place.
right. We'll make sure it's obvious.
Yeah.
You're saying it's black. I know that, okay, it is generals. I know that kneadable erasers do come in a lot of different colors. As long as it's kind of like, you know, kind of like Play-Doh, this kind of material, then it's definitely a kneaded eraser. And you'll be fine.
Yeah, it looks like the Factus is, it's a soft eraser, but it's not actually a kneadable eraser.
Okay.
So our website is fabercastell.com. And when you go to fabercastell.com, you're going to see a little American flag, and that'll let you know that you are on the United States North American version of Faber-Castell. Faber-Castell is an international company, so we have wonderful manufacturing facilities really all over the world, producing beautiful colored pencils and these amazing pens and art materials, as well as here in the United States.
It's this last part I'm so nervous to do, the happy and the day. I'll do my best.
Someone asked if we are on Instagram. We are on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram is awesome. Not that I'm biased, but we have great content on there. We post so many different projects too. It's really a great resource. And we post a lot of people's art that they've done with our product. So much fun to see what other people do. Okay. So I've drawn everything out with a pen, and I'm going to start coloring with the watercolor pencils. What's the Instagram? Our Instagram is Faber-Castell USA. So I'm going to start coloring the flowers because they're the biggest focal point. And so I'm starting with this pink color. This is the Goldfaber Aqua in the color 131. If you don't have this color, or if you don't like this color, you can always use a different color. I think this would be really pretty with like purples too, purples and blues. And what's really awesome about using the watercolor pen marker, or the words are hard, the watercolor pencils, is that you don't have to be precise at all. You're really just putting down color. I'm kind of just scribbling it on. And once we go over it with a wet paintbrush, it really turns into, it's just like watercolor paint. You're not going to see any of like the, you know, my ugly marks with my pencil.
So somebody's asking, aren't we doing watercolor? So this is going to be kind of like the magic reveal. Do you want to tell them a little bit about these magical pencils?
Yeah, so these are the Goldfaber Aqua watercolor pencils. So they look just like a color pencil. You put it down and it looks just like a color pencil. And let me get my paintbrush and I'll show you what these look like. So this is going to turn into, it's going to be just like watercoloring. And you don't even have to be really careful with how you put down this. I mean, you want to have enough color so you have a saturated color, but look at this. You know, all you do is put a little bit of water and then it's just like paint. And it's nice because then you don't have to mix colors. You don't need a a mixing palette or anything. And it totally dissolves in the water.
Kathleen, what will the name of the template be? That's how they want to find it on the site. So this would be the Mother's Day.
I'll title it Mother's Day card with PITT Artist Pens and watercolor pencils, the Goldfaber Aqua watercolor pencils. We'll make it specific so you know what we mean, because I don't think we have any other Mother's Day cards on our social media with these. Yeah, I think that looks great. So I'm going to keep going with this color. I started with this one color. So I'm going to keep moving around to the other parts of the watercolor drawing, so that once I'm done with this color, I can go back to my first flower and this will be dry and I can start with the next color. So again, you really don't have to be too specific. You want to color in the lines, but you don't have to be too careful about how you're drawing.
Kathleen, could you give the number for that pink pencil again when you have a chance?
Yep, this is 131. And I'm not sure exactly what the color name is, but if you have our pencils, they all have the same color index code. So this is 131. So even if you're using our regular color pencils or our premium Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, they'll all have the same color number.
Even if you search Faber-Castell USA, we will pop up, but I did put the URL in the chat.
Yeah, and make sure you include the USA. That cool. I love these pencils.
So I noticed it's interesting how you're getting shading the dark and the light by moving the paint and the color around.
Yeah, if you want to add more depth to your drawing, I suggest putting more color in that area. So if you want like this one side of your flower to be darker, sketch more with the pencil in that area so that you're putting more pigment on the paper. And then it'll make it look a little bit more dimensional.
If I get too much water on my paper, could I use like a paper towel to blot it off, or what do you suggest?
Yeah, I actually have some here to clean off my brush. I'll show you what it looks like. It will pick up some, so you like that. Let me go over here. This is where I put more, and it's picking it up a little bit. So this is a really nice way to add some subtle definition. That's so fun. I might do that with my other ones. Okay. And so since these pink flowers, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, Kathleen, when you have a minute, could you show our classmates the that tin of pencils so that they could see what that looks like? That way, in case they're searching for them, sometimes it's easier to look at what
Absolutely.
it looks like. And these are available on Michael's. You want to flip it over, spin it around. There we go. So you see
So
there,
this,
Goldfaber. That's what.
right. This is the 24 count Goldfaber Aqua Tin. Michael's carries the 12 count and the 24 count. So if you don't want to splurge on the 24, they do have a 12 count if you haven't tried these before. So I was just going to say, since I colored in these pink flowers and they're still a little bit wet, I'm going to wait to color in the other parts of the flower. I'm going to wait for this main section to dry. So I'm going to move on to these other flowers. Okay, so on this flower, on these other flowers, I'm using the color 109. You can see the number on the pencil.
Someone's asking if you can use a heat gun to get the paper to dry faster, or do you think that would wrinkle your paper?
You definitely can use a heat gun to make it dry faster. I just don't have one. I should have brought one with me. It would be loud on this Zoom. But
Okay.
yeah, you can absolutely use one.
If your paper gets a little wrinkly from the water, what do you suggest doing when you're done with the card and it's all dry?
If your paper has gotten a little bit warped, what I would suggest is I like to take some extra paper, like if I have this and it looks a little warped, I would take some extra scrap paper that I have, or even parchment paper, and kind of sandwich it over this, and then you can iron it to get it straight, and it won't affect your artwork at all, but it'll flatten it out really nicely. You just don't want to have the iron like directly on your card in case, you know, something transfers. You don't want it to be on your pretty card. Oh, you have the grip color pencils. Yeah. Those work too.
You know, what I love about our favorite Castell art products is that we really have a range for everyone. We've got great products for children and for, you know, artists or crafters just starting out that are very affordable, all the way to materials for professional artists. So you can really find something that suits your budget, and it suits you know, your ability and how you want to experiment.
Exactly. If you've never tried watercolor pencils and you don't want to splurge, you know, some of our pencils can be expensive, pretty pricey. All of our products are really nice though. So I've done the orange.
How much water is on your brush? I'm not sure if you could pull your water cup and show
So
how much water you're using.
yeah. Here, I'm gonna take this card off screen. So I'm gonna do these leaves next. And this color is 156. You see that? so hard to get the camera to focus. It's 156 and it's kind of like this greeny blue. It's a really pretty color.
With these pencils too, you don't have to press down very hard to get a lot of color. That's another thing I like about them.
Right. They're really so saturated with color. They're all really vibrant colors.
Sometimes when you have to press so hard, it ends up like marking your paper. That's what I love about these pencils.
I love that these watercolor pencils make doing watercolor so much easier and like tidy. I love doing watercolor paintings. I've pretty much tried every single watercolor paint that's out there. And these are like no mess watercolors. You don't have to deal with mixing any colors on a palette. So let me show you. I just put down all of the 156 color and I'm about to start watercoloring. So I wanted to show you how much water I'm putting on my brush. It's not going to be super, you don't want it to be dripping with water. Like right now I see that there's like, you know, it probably could drip. You just want it a little bit wet, not too wet. You don't want it like dripping with water, but just enough that you will be able to control what's on your paintbrush. And these are easy. And what I like about watercolor is that it doesn't even have to be perfect. Like even if it's, you know, over the lines, I feel like it's still kind of moody.
Someone mentioned using the water brush, which in Faber-Castell, we also have water brushes that can be used. Those are pretty cool.
I actually have a water brush with me. These are awesome. I don't have any water inside of it, but I'll use that a little bit too, because I love this brush. You can see this is what it looks like. And to fill it up with water, it comes apart like this. So you would put this under the faucet to fill it up. And you barely even need to squeeze it and you'll get water. What's nice though is this is really easy to control though. Like to get more water, you squeeze it like this. But it's so easy to control the flow on these. And I find that this brush is really universal. You can use it for so many things.
And to clean the brush, how do you go about cleaning your water brush?
So even though it's a water brush, I usually have a cup of water to the side anyway. If you're probably drawing outside, you probably wouldn't have a water cup. But I like to wash it off just like that. Or if you're out and on the go, you're drawing outside, you can squeeze water out and, you know, kind of dab your paintbrush so you can clean the color off of it. So it looks like my pink flowers are pretty much dry. So I'm gonna go in and add the rest of the colors to them. So I have color 125. This is more of like a purpley color. And I'm gonna put it just on these little areas. And you can also mix these colors together. I haven't been blending any colors, but you can scribble the two colors together on your paper. And then once you start coloring, they kind of mix together really pretty. So I'm gonna do that with that purpley pink and then this salmon pink.
You know, if you have any creative moms, a tin of Faber-Castell Goldfaber aqua pencils would make a lovely Mother's Day present to go along with the pretty card.
That's a great idea. I know my mom loves to use our color pencils for coloring books and stuff even. So with the paintbrush, I don't have any water in it, but I'm still dipping it in the water and I'm dabbing it a little bit so my brush isn't too overloaded with water. You just want it to be like a little bit damp so that you can still have control over the water that you're putting on your paper. Pretty. I'll make this orange also. And then I'm going to draw in all the stems. And this color is 166. And so I'm going to color this in and talk about what we're going to do with this when we're done. Once this is dried, you're going to cut it out. So you could use scissors, or if you have an X-Acto knife, feel free to use that. But once you're done watercoloring and it's dry, you'll cut it out. And then along this line down the middle, that'll be your fold line.
This is looking so pretty, Kathleen.
Thank you. Yeah, I would be happy to give this to my mom for Mother's Day.
So somebody asked about an envelope for the card.
Oh, okay, good. I'm
Medium.
glad you asked that. So I know at Staples or at Home Depot, they sell boxes of greeting card envelopes. I'll show you what I have and I'll show you the dimensions of it.
I've seen them at Michael's as well.
Okay, perfect. So this is old, obviously, but it's just a greeting card envelope. And this, it has the measurements on it. It's 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. And I'll show you what this looks like with the card. You want the envelope to be a little bit bigger than the card, but this is what it's going to look like. So you have a little bit of room.
If you go to the stationery section in Michael's, where all the great papers are, you can definitely find some beautiful blank envelopes that would be a great companion to the card. They could even put one of these pretty flowers on the outside of the envelope. That might be cool looking.
You know what I was just thinking is that I know that envelope liners are really cool too. If you have some extra paper, you could always make a little envelope liner to stick in here.
Kathleen, do you have any advice for young artists that are just getting started?
My advice for any young artist would just be to take your sketchbook everywhere and draw as much as you can. That's the only way to get better at drawing, is to just practice. So here's a card. And let me look at the finished card. So this is the other card that I did. And you can see I added some little hearts and some little splatters. So I'll go ahead and do that since we still have a couple more minutes. And does anybody have any more questions?
Yeah, someone said that they used the Michaels envelope and card sets, and that works.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
I know.
As long as the paper is thicker paper. You do want a thicker paper if you're watercoloring.
Yeah. And these pencils don't work well if you're using like a glossy cardstock.
Right.
You're not going to be able to use watercolor on those. I wonder what this would look like on like a brown craft card and envelope.
That would be really fun if you used brown paper and then you could gesso a spot of it and then color on top of that. That'd be really pretty. Best way to sharpen the pencils. Shoot, I just had my pencil sharpener. Oh, here it is. So we have a grip sharpener. This is a Faber-Castell sharpener, and this is really nice because it has all of these different holes for different kinds of pencils. So one side is for color pencils, and then the other side is for graphite pencils. So it kind of keeps your pencil clean. You don't want graphite on your watercolor pencil, getting it dirty. I think it's nice that it's separate. And also for graphite, this also sharpens jumbo pencils. So if you have any jumbo ones, that's really nice.
If you open it the other direction, also it stores all your pencil shavings, so then you can dump it out. You just open it the direction. I don't want you to open it up now, you'll get it on. Yeah. You know what else I love using that pencil sharpener? It's great for makeup pencils because
it is.
The blade is beautiful and you get such a nice, clean, crisp sharpen with that. You don't have the problem.
That's smart.
Yeah.
You can even use one side for your eyeliner and one side for your eyeshadow.
So the name of the sharpener is the Faber-Castell Grip Trio Sharpener. I'll put that in the.
Yep. And we actually have it in a couple of different colors. This is the silver one, I believe, is in the Michaels stores. So you can get this at Michaels.
I buy that sharpener all the time for my friends who are artists, and they love that. They love that sharpener so much.
So I just added these hearts. I know it's not everybody's thing. I love the hearts though. And then I wanted to show you these little splatters. You can draw them on there if you want. You can also take your brush and kind of just get a little bit of ink this way. And this is also kind of like a fun way, because then you can do like, you know, cool little splatters like that.
That's so cool. The one thing that people have a tendency, they want to dunk their pencils in their cup of water, but we always like to remind people that's not a good idea. That makes the wood of your pencil swell, and it really over time will ruin your pencil. So don't dunk your pencil directly in water. Just do what Kathleen did with the little tip of water on the edge like that, or just draw directly on your paper and then use your brush.
Cool.
That's so pretty. Your mom is going to love this card.
You know what? And if you decide you don't like these splatters, you can always pick them up a little bit if you decide you went overboard. So there you go. And then you just cut this out. Thanks everybody for coming to this class. I had a lot of fun.
We really appreciate everyone joining us today, and we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Hope to see you on the next Michael's class. Bye, everyone.